this morning. Let's start maybe just hearing what your thoughts are on that particular question. Do you think a PG would be what would resolve what is happening in Jubilee? Let me start with you, Professor.
Actually, whether they call it, they don't call it, it makes no difference. The cabinet is divided.
So what do you think is ailing the cabinet?
Corruption. And those, I would like the deputy president to do two things, and Kenyans will remember him, and the cabinet will even come up. And I'm not attacking him, I'm just saying it the way it comes. First of all, you should issue a statement on corruption. And you should tell the country where things have gone wrong. What is his stand on corruption? What has he done to disengage corruption? Number two, he should also come up and apologize on that letter thing, the fake letter, because it's him who started. But if he can walk to the CID headquarters and write a statement and come and disassociate himself from that statement, then anything he does will make sense. But if he comes up and says that we are now calling for a cabinet meeting, that is nonsense.
Okay. Weda, do you think a parliamentary group meeting would be what would resolve what's happening in Jubilee? Currently, we already have three factions of Jubilee. We have Kieleweke, we have Tanga, and now we have Team Wanjiku.
Yes, I don't think any parliamentary group meeting would resolve this. These teams are preparing for post-Uhuru era. It is about interests of the future. It's not about the president, it's not about the deputy, it's not about unity. So they are preparing ground space, and that the rift will continue to widen as people scramble to see who will be the next president. How do I sing for him louder today so that when his kingdom comes, then I'm in charge of the kingdom? That is exactly why there's this huge divide. That's exactly where we have issues with the handshake. That's exactly where we have fake letters. That all these things are about succession. They know that in another 2.5 years, President Uhuru will be leaving and somebody else will be coming. So there are those who want to replace President Uhuru. Then there are those who want to station themselves strategically near those who will that person who will replace President Uhuru. That's the division. You see, looking at it, parliamentary group meeting, they'll go there, they eat, they dance. If the allowances, they receive. But that will not heal anything. They'll come and do the usual. And the divisions are not that violent as we tend to think. If you want to know, just look at when they talk about money. There's no Kieleweke, there's no Tanga, there is nothing Wanjiku. That one is us versus the people of Kenya. Here also is about power coming and power current. The only way you can ameliorate it or thaw it down is for the president and the deputy president to read some riot act to them and then change tact.
Change tact. But the question then might be, given that the deputy president is the one actually calling for a parliamentary group meeting, which he expects his boss, the president, to call, then would expect him to communicate that within, their offices and have that done. Whereas he's doing this in public. Should that then inform us, the public, that even within the presidency there is a bit of, disagreement in how to move things forward?
I think, yes. I would say that the deputy president is preparing his ground. This thing of calling in public, oh, Mr. President, please call these people together. That's drama. Otherwise, it is like Mr. Weda here standing and directing my wife, or my wife directing me in public, telling me in public,
tell Weda.
Tell Weda that the children need food. He's not talking about food. She is actually advising the public that first, we are not communicating well. 2, there is something wrong. 3, let public pressure come to bear. That's exactly what the deputy president is doing.
All right, Professor, do you agree that possibly the deputy president coming out in public to advise his boss or to suggest that his boss should be calling for a PG then is an indication that possibly within the presidency there's already a bit of discord there?
First of all, Ruto has defied the president.
In what way?
The president said no politicking. Let's focus on 4 agendas. The deputy president is focusing on his campaign for 2022, defying the president of the country. Secondly, if you read his language and what he said in public or the utterances he made, he has already abused some of them by saying that some of them are prophets of doom. How do you expect me, if I was a member of parliament in the other side of the camp, to come to you? He has no legitimacy. So all these statements he's making, as my senior has said here, are reckless statements. There are some things which ought to be done to be done in-house. When you had President Moi had the authoritative authority. Whatever he said passed. He knew how to clamor his subject. He had the authority and he put people under cabinet responsibility as enshrined in the Constitution. He was the leader that the country is lacking today.
Is lacking.
So when the deputy president has messed up the country, the way he has messed up, and I'm not sorry to say this, I'm sorry to go to heaven for telling the truth. He should not now come out. What he should be doing right now is, what do we do, or how do I resign? So how do I prepare for the elections?
Okay.
Let me resign today, just like what Manyora said in his weekly utterances, communique, and then prepare for election, rather than using people like stooges.
All right, Professor, when you say that the deputy president has, messed up, what exactly do you mean?
Yeah, he has
How
messed
has he
up the
done
president. The president comes up and says, let us work with collective responsibility. This is what we need. We need to focus on development and infrastructure. We do not want politics or now. Has he come up and said anything other than commissioning government projects, government money, taxpayers' projects, in terms of doing what? Wanting to be seen to be doing what the government is doing. What kind of hypocrisy is this?
All right, and let me come to you, Weda, and Moses Kuria is on record as saying that the discussion and the breakdown that we have in Jubilee as government is purely because of 2 people, and he says it's the deputy president and Raila Amolo Odinga. I'd like us to just listen into what Moses Kuria had to say before we get comments.
Jamani, hii siasa inaletwa na Raila na Ruto ya kugawanya wa Kenya, tukatae. Tupendane sisi zote, makabila yote, wa Kikuyu, wa Jaruo, wa Kisii, wa Kalenjin. Kenya ni yetu zote. Sawa? Na kama Raila na Ruto hawatakoma hiyo tabia ya kugawanya wa Kenya, wote wawili tutawazika katika kaburi la sahau.
All right, so that there is now the newly emerged Team Wanjiko, and according to Moses Kuria, he says that siasa ya kugawanya wa Kenya inatoka kwa Ruto na Raila. Weda?
I think my brother Moses Kuria, we were in the university together. He was in Lower Kabeta. He is trying to make room for himself. And to do that, you take your axe and you hit it at the root of the Mugumo tree. Then the Wazes will be asking, which madman is that who is trying to bring the Mugumo tree using a razor blade? That's exactly what he's doing. So what do? He says attack Raila, and then you attack Ruto and eliminate them in his mind. And then you say, since President Uhuru's case is gone in the sense that he will go in the next 3 years. So there's no need to attack him. There's no need to blame him. There is just everything to say, eliminate these 2 people. Then who is remaining? Team Wanjiko, Team Moses Kuria. The tiffs between the deputy president and the Honorable Raila is about the handshake. And the deputy president said, you followed us here in Jubilee, and now the tiff is that Honorable Raila has taken away the deputy president's bride, or to use the other word, suitor or colleague or partner. I don't think the president has eaten